Hello, everybody. This is Joel, aka Bourbon Dingo, and welcome to episode 35 of my second series on Let's Play Crusader Kings 2. During the last episode, we finally gathered a couple more claims here in England, and we decided to go ahead and press the few we had. There are some rather large armies moving around in the Iberian Peninsula, and they're probably going to take a few of my areas here. But what we're hoping for is that we can keep up with them in mainland England, and then possibly send some people down to go ahead and clear out the armies they have burning around through there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and combine all the guys I got up here and start them on an assault in the one little holding they have up here in Strathern. I'm going to go ahead and combine. Apparently I can't. Oh. Once we're done with this first siege here, once we've done with this first siege here, I'm going to move them down into the area we're actually targeting so that we can get some percentage bonuses from war score. For now, the goal is I'm going to send this rather large army I have, basically through them down into Winchester down here. I'm going to go ahead and appoint some new leaders of this army as well. Alright, now that they're both in the same area, I'm going to go ahead and merge those two. We got slow going on down here, but I'm not too worried about that. As you can see, we just had our first defeat down here, and I'm expecting that to basically continue through. What I am hoping for is that the battle with Marrakesh that they're going through right now is weakening their armies. We've stolen a bit of technology here. As you can see, they're moving some of their people around so they don't get caught. But what we're doing now is I'm basically waiting on collecting at least one holding from up here. And then just like last time, I'm going to walk these guys through all these armies that are popping up here. In a basic attempt just to clear them out. We're getting closer. I'm trying to keep the speed down just in case they move one of those large armies here so I can react to it. Alright, we have succeeded in doing this. So what I'm going to do now is start a basic movement for these guys that sends them through some of these areas. But now that we have them move, I'm actually going to pull my king out of combat. There's a high likelihood everyone here, well, what just happened? All of their soldiers right around here just disappeared. Pause real fast and go take a look. There doesn't appear to be anything going on right here. They had a truce with the Earl of Bedford. No, that's just him. Those soldiers that were right there may have been being pulled up because of an internal war that was going on. So whenever they left, they decided to go ahead and disband them all. Alright. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look here. We're still trying to barrel that down. I believe I'm going to go ahead and currently have a positive balance of about 20 gold. So we're going to take a look and see if I can't pull some mercenaries in. Mercenaries appear to already be hired. So we're just going to hire the Catalan band here for a small amount. I'm going to go ahead and move them into this other group, and that way possibly. Alright, we have gained a chance to fabricate the Duchy of Kent, and I don't want the Duchy of Kent. I want the County of Kent. If I hadn't already had some claims in there, I might go ahead and take it, but alright, we have succeeded in a siege of somewhere. Oh, down here. Alright. We've succeeded in this siege. It was the only area held there. So now I'm going to go ahead and move them into the next area down here. Succeeded in the first sieged area here. And these sieges will likely be gathered relatively quickly. Let's go ahead and band them together. I'm going to go ahead and start an assault here, because we need to keep this percentage up. Okay. My son had a daughter. Like I said, my goal here is to just try to keep these percentages about where they're supposed to be. I'm going to forego pressing on this last area because it's a rather massive area, but I am going to start sending these guys around. Right, we've gotten one on just the county, and we are going to use that one. Goal here is to make sure they don't pull anybody extra into our combats. Almost succeeded in this second set. Alright, and we can send Prince Banger to go do something, and what I'd like to do is make the town opinion higher. So I'll go and get him to kowtow with the towns. I'm going to appoint a new spy master. We're just going to send him to collect info from Mortain here. Assaulting these places is a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be, but that's because of the amount of soldiers that each of these cities seems to have. Let's pause for a moment. I'm going to see if I can't possibly call in some friends. I believe I might only have one person who's willing to actively come in with this, but I may be able to actively jump their like of us up enough. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to call Norway in to aid me. Right now, they're not going to be that much of a help, but any aid right now would be worthwhile. Alright, we have succeeded in sieging another area here. It's going to be everything in this area. Once again, I'm going to do a little sweep and see if I can't gather general kills on the troops they have floating around. Alright, we're going to pause and send him back into Surrey, which is an area that we were trying to claim. Alright, pause for a moment because we need to educate a child. We're going to hand this off to one of our dukes here. Alright, and as you can see, we're losing quite a few areas here down in down here, which may not be that big of an issue for too long. 53%. He's fine for now. We're going to go ahead and leave him be. Instead of keeping that siege going, I'm going to take the chance to go in there and disrupt that group that was trying to undo some of my sieging. In fact, what I think I'm going to do here is pause real fast. Majority of the population in Soria has been converted to the... Oh, and that would be one of the areas we weren't in. Okay, King Esben of Norway wants to marry one of our daughters. And I actually don't have too much of a problem with that. Let's go ahead and do that. She was educating one of our children, but we can go ahead and take over that education ourselves. What I'm going to do actually is combine these guys real fast and start some blitzing of some of these assault areas. They will both be dealing with some high level of attrition, but I will be able to burn through a lot more places all at once. The Mongols have sacked Mecca. And I'll take a look at that here in a bit. Taking a look, I believe my son's heir just came of age. And he's not exceedingly great, but he's not horrible. Okay, taking a quick pause, I'm going to run these guys down into Sussex to clear out these soldiers. And after they're done clearing out those soldiers, okay, there's been a crusade called for Andalusia, which may help me in the long run. Because what may end up happening is this large army here may end up coming face first with a Muslim army if it's gathered together, which would be good. While we have this paused real fast, I want to see how far the Okanit have actually gone. And that's interesting, actually. The Okanit are spreading massively. And that's interesting in and of itself, but not that big a deal. The Golden Horde have finally taken the area from Ruthenia up here. What is very interesting is that the Holy Roman Empire's capital is now down here near the, I believe, the Suez Canal. Always been horrible at remembering. This is the Sinai Peninsula. I remember that, but I don't remember what this canal is called. But they've moved the capital out of the actual normal area for the Holy Roman Empire, which is quite interesting. Alright. These soldiers down here are now done with taking care of these areas in proper England. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to get about 60, I believe, boats for them. got some peasants revolting and stuff. What I may do for those instances is go ahead and move these guys up to take care of the peasant revolt. I mean to do it that way, but it's not too big a deal. We'll go and send him up here into take care of these peasants. Then we'll pick them up and move them on. And as you can see, we've gone ahead and we've won that battle. Combine these guys all together, and since I'm not really in any excessive hurry, just move them down into Derby of their own volition. Or, no, we'll move them into York and let them start taking areas from York. But I am going to go ahead and stand that fleet down. We're going to keep the assaults going. And we've actually dealt with attrition down to a point now where my son is asking for his own area, and I'm going to let him know that he isn't ready yet still. And we're going to work on trying to take out some of these extra soldiers that are collecting around here. I'm going to go into Kent and take that over, and then after I'm done taking over Kent, which will take a while, they have quite a few soldiers there. What I'm going to do, actually, is send these troops down to take out what's going on in Andalusia. And clear their soldiers out, clear out a few of the areas that they're taking over. Okay, my daughter wants to learn how to use a sword. We're going to let her go ahead and do that. But what I'm going to do instead is, instead of keeping them there at York to take that area over, I'm just going to go ahead and send these guys back. Taking a quick look at our military, I can collect about 6,000 more troops. Don't think I'm going to do that, though. And asking Norway for help, I don't think I've received anything. I think they're pretty much dealing with an issue of the Auslandet war here. So forgive them that for a little bit. What I'm going to be doing while I'm collecting this is trying to collect the 200 and some odd boats I'm going to need to move these guys around. Had another peasant revolt. 60. Actually, I'm going to be going through all this. I may as well actively go through and do this number right here. We'll just collect everybody I'm going to need and then get rid of the rest. 347 boats. I don't need that many, so let's go ahead and try this. I want to see if I can get what I need like this. And that's all I need right there. We're going to go ahead and send these guys into the Strait of Dover. Then after they all collect, I'll put them together and disband all the rest. Alright, we're going to collect all those guys together, and then I'm going to come back up here and disband all the other ones. Alright, we have some issues of people taking areas and things of that nature. We're going to make our wife our spy master and send her back into Mortain. Send our steward to collect in Gwynedd. Getting some major penalties for the time that we were keeping these soldiers out, but that's not too big of an issue. I'm going to actively see about taking as many places from Kent as I can. Actually, we're going to take the first area, and I'm going to send these troops down to take care of that. There's a man I need to arrest, and another I want to assassinate. My spy master could go do the arrest or go do the assassination. We're going to send her to help with arrests because we do have a couple people popping up around here that I could use that percentage on. The reason we're going to do that is I'm going to wait for this very first area to fall, and then we're going to send them down there to go ahead and start cleaning. Okay, I inherited the county of Gowrie up here. I need to go ahead and go ahead and hand that off to someone else, because I also probably... No. So let's just go ahead and find someone to give this to. In fact, I'm going to just hire a noble. We'll hand that off. Actually, I have a grandson. We're not going to give that to him. Well, actually, yes. It's one of my second grandsons. We're going to grant him the county of Gowrie up here. Alright, and it still puts us one over. Not real sure what it is I'm holding on to that's causing this, but let's go ahead and transfer vassalage of my grandson over to him. Let's figure out what else I'm actually holding on to. The barony down here in Powys. Believe I was making that so that I could start handing it off to my son. Let's go ahead and do that, because if he goes there, he won't actually move out of our specific court, I believe. Go ahead and grant that barony to him. And that'll work for me. It's a whole bunch of people leaving as he became Baron over there. Well, let's get this started again. Okay, we have finished the siege of Dover. I'm going to go ahead and move these guys onto this ship, and we're going to go start taking care of some of these areas inside of I'm not real sure what makes for the fastest route in the Iberian Peninsula. So we're just going to try to handle some of these combats without completely dying. So this attack seems to not be working well in our favor here. One of the good things is that taking some of these areas back should be fairly easy, because there shouldn't be a whole lot of troops within these areas. I do want to try to get down to them as fast as possible so that they don't gain any more troops. And we have somebody who's attempting to escape. Lothian down here, who actually has quite a bit of area. I'm not going to be blackmailed. Alright. Our troops that we have right there didn't actively drop too much. The issue here is that they're going to have close to about 6,000-7,000 troops, plus whatever they may get, just because people might join them. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these larger groups down here and try to keep them for as short a period of time as possible. Alright, my granddaughter is lying to me. We're going to talk to her about honesty. one of the issues with the amount of troops they have here is that I'm losing a lot of troops to attrition. I'm hoping that I don't have a penalty whenever I go up here to attack these guys. We do need to go ahead and add some better leaders, though, if I can. Yeah, they have a bonus. I may not win this. In fact, my morale seems to be dropping fairly quickly. Though we did just crash a flank and crash another flank. That's good. Alright, we're going to keep following them. And I'm starting to run out of time. I'm going to keep the clock going until the end of this year. And we're going to go ahead and call it at that point. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and chase a few of their soldiers around and clear out what I can with these mercenaries I've gathered. Alright, swinging back down here. You can see that we've got them down to about 2,000 soldiers, so I'm going to go ahead and let them do whatever they're doing there. I'm actually going to start trying to take some of these areas back from England. What I may do is continue my taking care of some of these soldiers. As you can see, they've got another good little band of soldiers down here. I'm going to chase them around, then I'm going to come down here and clear out these guys who are attempting to Alright. And we just had some benefit in that there was a rebellion where the English soldiers were. Now, one of the issues I'm about to run into here is that I'd really like to disband my soldiers for a little bit because we're starting to get some very high penalties. So I believe that's actually what I'm going to try to do. And I know we're going to get some penalties for disbanding them and losing some of these extra soldiers that are running around. But it's very much what I want to occur. Because there's just too much penalty going on right now for combat. I'm going to try to chase down these last remaining soldiers down here to make sure that they can't continue sieging some of these areas. Alright, we're going to explain why we can't release somebody. Once again, we're at penalty. And as you can see, we've got some assaults going on up there. And it's Duke Andrew's claim. I'm really wondering if I can't possibly just throw some money at this. Where are they at right now? They're currently in... He's currently leading troops in Ericina. So he's not one of our troops. He's one of the ones that went down and dealt with all that. But I'm going to let them get out of this area first and try to go ahead and disband my own troops. We're going to let our armies revitalize for a little bit and try to knock down some of the dislike for ourselves. While we do that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I believe before I do that, though, what I'm going to try to do is back over here to this war. See what it would cost. There's a high percentage chance of being discovered with a low chance of success. So I'm going to hold off on that. We may go ahead and join that. Moray has just decided to join the war as well. So we're running into some very big issues here. But we can only hope that this actually takes care of itself. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, and I will see you during the very next episode. Thanks for watching.